Mike? Still not working. Mic check? There we go. Now it seems to be working. Hi, friends. It is we, Rachel and Eric. We're here. We've got a truck with some big ass money bags, and we're ready to rock.
Here we are.
The real question is, are you ready to roll? Because it takes two to tango. And tango is a form of rock and roll.
Thanks.
Would you like some of my yogurt? So it's been a while. We're not dead. I've been feeling low and saucy, I guess you'd say, lately. Or really more like low and depressy. Being kind of depressed because of my failure last month to adhere. Well, real men make those metal testicles out of money bags.
Real man.
Origins fall. While blasting Tracy Chapman.
Yeah, she was. Yeah,
This guy. The key thing to remember is
Yeah.
this dude, and it's a dude that looks like you'd expect the dude to look like. Okay, you know, it's Brody, and he's blasting Tracy Chapman.
Really, like when we took this picture, it was "Give me all reason to be here, and I'll turn it back around."
I don't remember which
Give me
Tracy.
all reason to be here. Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah,
and
okay.
I'll turn it back.
So that's
Right?
really strange, right?
Yeah.
It's really weird that this dude who's in every way a stereotype
Was blasting.
was blasting Tracy Chapman.
Give me all reason to be here, and I'll turn it back around. Of course, I don't have the soul.
Of course, you know that is a pretty good country song. So it's like, and it's sort of isolation of not knowing the artist or anything. It worked with the truck.
Does it? Oh, with the truck. With the truck, yes.
Yeah, if you just didn't know anything about Tracy Chapman,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like the countryness of the song.
Yes.
If you just, it seemed to work with the overall vibe, but it's just that Tracy Chapman's kind of like a wedge artist, you might say.
Yes.
Because some people have strong feelings about homosexuality.
Oh. I didn't know that.
And those same people who tend to have strong feelings about homosexuality are also tend to be country music fans. I'm a country music fan.
I don't dislike it. I have songs on my playlist that are country.
I don't find myself listening to much new country.
Yeah, I don't gravitate towards it either. That's the thing. I don't go out seeking country music songs. I usually end up like hearing it on the radio or I think this is NI, or maybe this is ignoring an E but using it. A lot of times, so say I choose the Chariot card. I'll go on to my Spotify and I'll put in the Chariot and I'll see what kind of songs come up. So then I'll get a random country song. But actually, now that we're talking about it, it makes me think of again, Dolly Parton. Like, all the songs that she has made.
Dolly Parton, good
She's
songwriter.
country.
You know, she wrote that song that was made famous by Whitney Houston.
Yes.
I
Will always love you. I will always love
But I'm more
you.
impressed, songwriting wise, with 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is a good song.
It's
Working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Working 9 to 5. It's a pretty catchy little number.
That was a big movie, and that was a big song.
You know what else was a
Johnny
movie that involved Dolly Parton? The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Oh, that's right.
And there used to be a hair salon in Pasadena called the Best Little Hair House in Pasadena.
That's really clever.
What was that clever boutique name we saw the other day?
Oh.
And I said, oh, that's so boutique-y.
Just gotta have it.
No, it was
Gotta have it.
it was a store. We were down taking my
Yes.
dad down there.
Wasn't it something like that?
Wasn't it a bakery thing?
Oh, it was bakery.
I think it was a bakery of some kind.
Oh.
Like just what I needed.
Yes.
Just
Just
what-
what I needed.
Just what I needed
That's
with
right.
a KNEADED. I was just like, ooh, that's just textbook straight out of a rom-com.
Yeah, that is.
I like the fact that in the zombie show that's on Netflix, the zombies, they congregate at this place it's a butchery called Meat Cute. But it's MEAT. Oh, what a boutique name.
That is.
Everybody loves boutiques. Dollywood. I was talking about Dollywood earlier with Rachel. I was talking
Yeah.
about somebody named, what was I saying? I don't even remember. I was talking about Chris Christopherson and
Oh.
Dolly Parton.
Yes, Chris Christopherson,
And
Roy Rogers, and
no, I wasn't talking about Roy Rogers. I was talking
I
about
was Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald and Chris Christopherson and Dolly Parton were the three I was talking about. I didn't know you brought up Roy Rogers.
I don't know why I brought. No, not Roy Rogers.
Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers. Yes.
Right, because the song that I thought was, I haven't really been following it at all. I know my friend Cameron was talking about it last night at dinner, and my basic position on it is, if you are rioting and destroying property, then you are forfeiting your normally expected rights. Now, it doesn't mean you can be executed, quote unquote, but it doesn't sound like that's what happened at all. And, I mean, I don't know enough to really have a strong opinion about it, but my inclination is, if there are rioters approaching my house with weapons, I have no reservation about firing upon them, whether it ends me up in court or not, because it's an obvious case of self-defense.
Yeah, that's why.
And I would expect to win the court case.
Yes. I would think that there would be.
Now, I don't. Granted, these guys were kind of going around looking for trouble, for what I understand, and it makes it a little iffy. And the thing is, regardless of what everybody's intent was or everybody's situation was, there are some people who got shot and some people who didn't, right? So it's hard to deny the fact that I don't know if did the other people shoot as well? I don't know enough of the details. I'd have to know more of the details to have a strong opinion about it. But by and large, I believe in the autonomy of individuals to defend themselves, and that rioters deserve very little regard, you know. People who are... Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it, frankly. Legends Fall says he's now free to go, not guilty on all charges.
Wow, that's really a big decision.
I mean, when you decide to riot, you are saying, I have no regard for other people's rights. So what do you fucking expect is going to happen? You know? What do you think is going to happen? You can't go around with total disregard for other people's rights and then complain when your rights are forfeit accordingly. It's like anybody who watches any anime knows. If you are willing to kill, you can't be upset when the tables get turned on you.
That's true. That's a big lesson that they try to teach in anime.
It's a big anime lesson. My dad, my beloved octogenarian father, got for Rachel and I the other day. Hi, Trouble.
Oh, Trouble is here.
A couple of Haikyuu masks. Which is really weird. You know, we actually have watched a lot of Haikyuu. Eventually I got tired of it. It was just more of the same, you know. But I've watched several seasons worth of it. So I was like, wow, Dad. Well, I mean, I would say repeat as necessary until rioting stops. Right? It's like, just because you don't like the way the law plays out doesn't mean you get to go break people's shit, steal people's stuff, burn people's stuff down. You just don't get to do that. Sorry. It's like, I don't understand all this immense sympathy for people who don't understand that they have a right to peaceful assembly. You know, I mean, it's very clear. You have the right to peaceful assembly, not rioting. So, I mean, I understand people are on different sides of various political wedges, but the bottom line is nobody should be on the side of rioting. That's just brazen criminality. You know, that's very straightforward. Nobody should be on the side of rioting. You know, there's this great story. I was thinking about it last night. Maybe because Cameron had brought this stuff up. There's these, well, it's a terrible story and a great story. The terrible part of it is there were these two Orange County cops who beat to death this homeless kid who was in his early 20s for no reason. And the jury ended up letting him go. And people were furious, and understandably so. And then one of those, but both the cops were fired because the police department didn't think what they did was legitimate. But one of them was then thereafter tried to go to Denny's with his family and was shamed out of the store. You know, it was like everybody got up and started hurling invective at him, and he and his family had to leave. You know, because they didn't want to sit there and deal with everybody talking all this shit at them. Now that's how you react appropriately, right? You don't riot, no matter how upsetting it is. Lots of people, including me, were very upset about this horrible verdict where they let these two cops go after they beat to death this homeless guy. But the homeless guy was a white, blonde-haired guy and was mentally ill in his 20s. And nobody rioted, even though a lot of people were very upset, because that takes you down to their level, right? Those cops are a couple of criminal thugs murderers. Don't become like them. Don't become a criminal. Respect people's rights. I mean, it's one of those divisive verdicts, right? Like, the OJ verdict was very divisive.
Yeah, that was.
Nobody rioted.
No. 'Cause I think it was. I don't know why no one rioted.
Now, you might say that the mainstream, when the mainstream gets screwed, they're still operating on an abundance of justice, and so they don't feel the need to act out. Whereas marginalized communities get screwed, it's just more of the same. But this is not one of those instances, right? It's like there were a series long before it became a hot button issue. I was all over this police shooting people shit and was freaking out about it on Facebook back when I was married with my second wife, and she'd tell me to stop saying these things because they didn't look good. And that's what was one of our key points of disagreement once I quit drinking, was she still wanted to control what I said on Facebook. And I was like, So, anyway, I was way ahead of the curve on this shit. Nobody gave a fuck. Nobody listened. Nobody cared. Then a necessary thing happened, which was all of a sudden everybody started becoming aware, as there's videos of this stuff, of the disregard for human life that police officers had developed out of a justifiable expectation that they would get away with it. After all, the courts had made it almost impossible to convict them. So there was a series of large-scale public outrages about this matter that were justified. But that doesn't mean any rioting was ever justified. You know, it's like what needed to happen was a peaceful approach to that. And it needed to not be racially focused. It needed to be about police accountability, not about black people, right? And so now, because whenever you include race, all of a sudden shit gets stupid, right? Whenever you include race, shit gets stupid. So it's like, we need to stop framing things that way. This is not a racial matter, right? It's a matter of criminals versus citizens defending themselves. And race has nothing to do with it. And what's interesting is it seems as though that first case that actually started all this hubbub, Michael Brown, that the cop was justified in that one, interestingly.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like I'm not one to side with the cops on these matters ever, unless there's really good reason. I've researched that case. That was actually a case where he was justified.
Wow.
But something needed to trigger a huge response, and one of the things that unveiled was the horrible abuse of the criminal justice system going on in Ohio, where they were literally targeting communities for as a means of garnering revenue. And it was just like, talk about the worst things. The worst kind of injustice of all is when injustice is achieved through the justice system. That's always the worst kind of injustice. That's why it's always better to let guilty go free than to convict the innocent. That's a general rule. Better let 10, or people vary on the number they say. Better let 10 guilty go free than 1 innocent go to jail. Hi, Dad. What's going on?
You can't quite just keep up. The porches, but you're gonna have to do them again.
I know. I'll do them again before Thanksgiving, before Friday. But I just got tired of walking around all the poops.
I know, but there's one right in the middle of the steps this morning, which was a new one. I did a couple of days next week.
Okay.
I was I'm still waiting for some notification from Kaiser, but beyond that, it was a clear week.
Okay. Sounds good.
So we'll just see.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Dad.
They, it's amazing. The hotel rooms are like $48-50 a night, so it's why not?
Why
You
not?
can make money in other ways, obviously.
Yeah. Right.
It's really good.
Let me pull up. Let me go flip the meats.
Oh yeah.
So we're cooking a couple of steaks right now, so I'm gonna go turn them over.
Thank you, Elise. I realized that I was severely lacking in like t-shirts. And so there was a sale going on at Francesca's, and I got this for like $13, which is great. So thank you. I appreciate that. I always try to like say thank you without like explaining myself now. I used to be in the habit of always being like, oh yeah, I oh thank you so much, you know, I got it from here or whatever. And then I read somewhere that they said that like explaining yourself is not fully accepting the compliment. But I don't know how much how true that is, you know? I don't think Eric has any turtlenecks, but Eric looks good in what he wears. So, this is kind of random, but I would love for you guys to, your input. So my hair is growing out now, and I've always wanted to do a mohawk. And I never did because I was too chicken. But I think like having it grow out now, I'm kind of like seeing the pattern of it, and my hair is kind of like perfect for a mohawk. So, what do you guys think?
You gonna grow a mohawk?
I think while it grows out, maybe.
Might as well.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. Turtlenecks.
Yes. I was saying I'm thinking. Cool. Thanks.
What do you think about me? You think I can pull off a mohawk?
You could.
Probably not.
I like to think that, like, I used to have dreams of you, and you would be English in the dream, and you were a punk rocker, and you were like one of those punk rockers, not who had a mohawk, but like the messy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A messy hair punk rocker.
Yes, you're a messy hair punk rocker.
I think I'll pull a bong rip now. Elise S. is here. Yes, if you feel like you need to justify yourself when given a compliment, that's a sign that is something that could be worked on. But it's a process, and be patient with yourself to smile. The need to justify yourself when given a compliment? I don't think I have that need particularly. I usually just say, thank you, appreciate it.
Yes, that's
Depends on the compliment. I guess if somebody were to give me a strange compliment that that didn't make sense to me, I'd say, huh, I never really think of myself like that. Maybe. Like they said, you're really consistent in your moods.
Is that what they say?
No, nobody's ever told me that. If somebody ever said to me, Eric, you know what I like about you? You're really consistent in your moods. I'd say, really? You think so? You must not know me very well.
They say the curve surfer is moody. That's a trait of a 7-8-4.
I've been very broody lately.
Moody Brody?
Yeah, I've been brooding, feeling bad, feeling like a loser in general. Last night we went to this Thanksgiving dinner with my dad and Cameron and my mom at the nursing home, and it was kind of a disaster, but it turned out okay, I guess. But the first thing that happens is we get there and they've got this guy singing like Frank Sinatra kind of songs over a backing track that's amplified through a shitty PA. and it made it impossible for my dad to hear anything because it was like hitting him right in the hearing aid frequency.
Yes.
In other words, hearing aids are designed to pick up certain kind of talking frequencies, probably right around 2K, and that's probably right where he was peaking out. And my dad couldn't hear anything. He was getting frustrated. He was kind of starting just to say rude things, even though we were at like the front table, unfortunately, like right in front of the guy.
I couldn't.
And it was embarrassing me because I didn't want my dad to make the guy feel bad.
I know, and I didn't know what to say, and I didn't want to be rude to your dad because like his frustration, like
was
all he could
understandable.
Yeah, it was. But then your mom was enjoying the music. Like, so it was like it was pretty difficult because like it was clear that your mom was really happy to see us. Like
Hi, Nicola. Yeah, well, I mean, that's something you notice more than me.
I sat right next to her.
I just don't pay that much attention to emotions like that, I guess.
She was having a good time. I could tell, like, she likes when she has visitors.
So then they brought around these salads, and I take a salad because that's what's coming around, and it's tiny, and I eat this little. It's good, but it's tiny, and then it's like another 40 minutes or something until our food comes, and I was starving. I was getting thing is, if I need to eat now, I need to eat now, or else you are going to get a really like impossible to deal with Eric. I mean, like I become unbearable. Like if I'm starving and I can't eat right now and I'm waiting for my food, oh my god.
When you're not listening to Cameron, like that to me was like, oh, he's hungry. Like you kind of were just you got to a point where you were just like where is my food? Like you couldn't you weren't talking?
Right. So at first it's like everyone was worried that my dad was going to embarrass us because he's going to say something really rude about the guy who's singing right in front of us. Which he said multiple things, which I'm sure the guy must have heard one or two of them, but was pretty smooth about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it shifts to everyone has to worry about Eric's going to embarrass us because I'm about to throw a fit. And like I'm saying things like, you know, I'm about to go across the street to B-Man's, get a burger, and bring it back here to make a fucking point, you know? Like, I'm really fussy at this point. Finally, our food comes. It's still not really enough food. I eat the whole plate in, like, seconds, and I feel better, but fortunately, Rachel, I think mostly to be nice, ate, like, half of her food and gave me the other half, although she insisted she was full.
Yes, I really, like, because, like, I felt like I was being a picky eater at that moment.
Oh, you didn't really feel like you're eating what you had?
Want to have the sweet potatoes?
I didn't even know there were any sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
I was so hungry I just shoveled it all in my mouth, you know?
I had the turkey and the potatoes, and
I want to address what Elise S. says here. She says, I felt like that after my arrest last year for months. I almost killed myself in all honesty, but once you realize all those thoughts are BS, it's so transformative. For me, it's not like that. The thoughts are not BS. They're perfectly legitimate thoughts, like, why am I being such a lazy, slothy non-adult? So, you know, I spent most of my adult life living independently off by myself, making enough money to support myself in full, you know? And yet here I am, Rachel and I are squeaking by because I'm just basically my dad's enabling me to be like this, and therefore I am. And we did a tarot reading yesterday, and the card that came out as like basically the recent past and this I don't remember what position it came out in, but it was the devil. And that's the card that I identified with most in that reading was I am subject to my own capacity to be self-indulgent too much. But of course I also recognize that the reason I was feeling that way, and I realized it the whole time, was because I switched up my normal Adderall schedule. I basically went through my bottle, then a friend's bottle, and then my bottle again without a break. And as a consequence, I had a really dark, sleepy week, you know?
You didn't even... Honestly, I was thinking to myself, I was like, his sleepy week is going to be... Or he's missing sleepy week.
Yeah. I'm not caring for her anymore. I was. But now she's in a nursing home being very well cared for.
Yes.
And requires very little effort on our part. So that's not the case anymore. And it is a source. I have a huge source of guilt, but it is not my mom that I feel guilty about. I feel guilty about my dad. I feel like I'm not a good son. I don't know how to make him happy. I don't know how to, or I choose not to spend time with him enough. And I'm just not a very good son, and I really don't like myself because of that, you know? It's like I want to be better, and yet I'm not. So I don't know what to do about that.
I think you're hard on yourself. I don't want to minimize, but the thing is, like you said last night, once we said to your dad, we had a great night, he was happy.
Right. So he came out afterwards, and he just wants to hear that it was a great night, and even though it wasn't. And at first I was like, well, it's, you know, it was a funny story to tell, I guess. And I was in a better mood by then because I'd eaten, obviously. And then it sort of dawned on me, he just wants me to say, yeah, it was great. Yeah. We loved it, thanks.
Yes.
And you know, that's NI-polar for you, right? They don't really care what the truth is.
No.
So,
they don't.
But it's like, I see my dad being bored, and I don't, and it's just the timing's always, like, my timing or something is awful, right? Like, so I get some energy, or just my choices. I get some energy, and I decide, okay, good. I did one thing I wanted to do for my dad, more or less, which is clean off the deck for all the peacock poop, which I did. And then I wanted to cook some steaks, which I did, and then I wanted to stream, which I'm doing. And then my dad comes out here, and it's like, if I wasn't streaming, that would be a good opportunity for me to maybe try to go do something or hang out with him or something. But it's like, I guess I don't know how to. ESTJs and ENTPs, it's really hard.
Yes, and
It's really hard. I try to initiate things, but I'm not supposed to initiate things. I'm supposed to be there, available when he feels like it, to engage accordingly, and I have a hard time with it.
Yeah.
I watch my dad and Cameron engage, so naturally as Cameron talks about his SITE shit, and my dad talks about SITE shit, and I just think, like, that's the son he wishes he had, really, you know? So it's really difficult. Frankly, I didn't know I was going to get into this so emotional a topic.
But I think, like, what Elise said is right, that he would tell you. So I don't think he's one to actually, and maybe he is, to say how much, like, he appreciates what you do. But I think on a subconscious level, like, he actually really does appreciate you being here, you know? He mentions a lot about how he was able to get his eye surgery done, and I think he's really happy it's done, and I think that he was happy that you were able to help him.
Yeah, but it's so basic shit.
I I know.
So, like, of course I'm gonna do basic shit. It's like his expectations are too low.
I think you're being hard on yourself personally. I do. I think
That's the thing. It's easy to say that, but isn't it sometimes the case that you're not being hard on yourself, that you're actually just being honest?
yes.
And I think that's how it is in this instance. That's how I view it. It's like, I'm better than shitty children who don't care at all. I care. I'm not ill-intentioned. I'm not bad.
That's the
right.
thing.
I'm not saying I'm a bad son. Although I have said that. I shouldn't say that. I'm not a bad son. I'm just failed to be a good son. You know, that's the bottom line. I failed to be a good enough son, especially considering what an amazing parent he's been. You know. But then I try to think of the other situation. Think of it like Delilah. Delilah would never have this experience, right? Because she and I talk the same language and understand each other. So an example of how my dad and I just do not speak the same language. I go in to say, I just want to double check about this Thanksgiving thing. Because the sunrise Thanksgiving was yesterday, right? Which is a week before Thanksgiving. And it confused me a little bit because we're having our Thanksgiving on Black Friday. And I always wanted to make sure that I had the weeks right. I had Rachel check twice on her calendar to make sure Thanksgiving was next week. And then I still was a little bit, wanted to make sure I didn't fuck this up, because that's the sort of thing that makes my dad furious if I fuck something like this up, you know?
Yeah.
So I went and asked him, I said, so just want to double check. Even though Thanksgiving is next Thursday, the sunrise thing is tomorrow, right? It's right there on the flyer, son. 18th. Look at it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I see that. So, but you get why I'm checking, right? Because Thanksgiving itself is next Thursday. And he's like, I told you, 18th, a week ago, blah, blah, blah. And I want to repeat, but I don't, right? I want to repeat and say, but do you understand why I'm confused here, or wanting to double check? Are we on the same page? Oh yes, Eric, I get that you're confused about this because, or just want to double check because Thanksgiving is next Thursday and this Thursday is this Thanksgiving and we're having it the Friday after actual Thanksgiving, and I get that it's confusing. But there's not any shred of that, right? It's just addressing the direct question that I'm asking and not ignoring all of the explanations to why I'm asking, with the implication that you already know this, I already told you this, why are you asking me again? And it's like,
yeah. It's deflating. I had that same sort of moment when I went in to ask for the bowl. You know, I'm like, can we borrow some bowls for soup? And like, basically the conversation came down to, what I learned from the conversation was he doesn't like to be bothered, so he would rather me just go into the kitchen and take the bowls and leave, like maybe say hello to him at most, but just do my thing.
Yeah, right. Well, if you had asked me first, I should have said, just go in and say, I'm getting a couple of bowls. He doesn't want...
Yeah, he doesn't want to be asked. He doesn't want to...
He's very particular like this, you know? So he's very prickly, which makes it difficult to like, go engage with him.
Yeah, because
like,
then...
I saw him watching basketball last night inside. I thought, you know, maybe since Rachel's going to bed, I could go in there and watch the game with him for a bit. And I knew that if I did... And I sat there for a while, and then he'd start talking to me, and he'd be happy that I had done so. But I also knew that, initially at least, that I would get, well, what are you doing in here? What do you want? You know, it's a challenge.
That's an 8, though, right? 8 ESTJ. Like,
Yeah.
Like him like tearing out his ear, his hearing aids and being like, I'm over this. It's so loud, like, and he's like, saying how the guy could be a better singer, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, that's 8, like they can't help themselves.
I mean, I just think it's anti-polar in a nutshell. My dad is used to what he's used to,
Yeah.
and he's used to me being fairly distant and us being fairly distant, and so he didn't go through a lot of trauma. He didn't like the fact that his dad left. He was mad at his dad. I remember that when I was younger. But his mom loved him a lot, and he had to be the man on the farm a little too soon. And he did that whole get up, milk the cows, walk through the snow to school shit. Yes, he did all that stuff. And then he was in the military, and you hear him say periodically that we need to reinstate the draft because people are undisciplined, basically. Very ESTJ notion. Not a bad idea, frankly, but the thing is, he did go through difficult stuff, but he didn't really go through traumatic stuff. And he's definitely an 8. Like, he's angry dad,
Yeah.
He is not a marshmallow at all. There's nothing marshmallowy about this guy.
Yeah, my dad is a marshmallow.
Yeah. I mean, talk about your perceptions of my dad as they changed since when you got here to now.
That he's a very good person, and means, I think, he's very unbiased. When he talks politics, it's some of the most intelligent stuff that I have ever heard. And just, he really doesn't like to take sides. And when he does, he's usually right. Sometimes he's wrong, and it's only because times are changing, but he's incredibly wise. And some of the stuff that he's been through, like, he told this one story, and this is going to stick with me forever, about how Jane and he were in Ireland, and while Jane was off getting some, like, there's this brand in Ireland that's famous, and Jane was at the factory getting something for herself. David was watching the car, and the Republic of Ireland, or whatever, the ones who wanted to be free from England, came at him with a gun to his head and was like asking him questions. Like, in my mind, I would be so frozen that I would probably pee myself. But he calmly answered all these questions, and finally these people with guns left because he was calm and reserved, and I think he went into there's more to the story, but it's just like, plus he raced cars, and they've traveled all over the place. They've lived in France for years. Isn't it years that they...
I mean, to clarify, Rachel's telling it in a very dramatic way. The way he tells it, basically, they were questioned by armed men.
Yes.
At some sort of checkpoint, not that terrorists ran up to him and put guns to his head. Just to clarify.
I thought it was out of the blue. I didn't know it was a checkpoint, but still.
It's still crazy.
Yeah.
There's no doubt it's still crazy, because I don't think it was a government checkpoint, right? I think it was a makeshift checkpoint.
Makeshift, it was, and they had.
But regardless, I don't know when it was, but yeah, they've been all over the place and did all kinds of shit, you know.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't in the 70s. Winston's mom was probably in the 80s, because if you remember in the 80s there was a big NRA shit. So regardless, yeah, and he spent a lot of time in Europe racing cars, and he's in that book where he had to go to take the soon-to-be widow of the victim of a crash in the Le Mans race that they made that Ford versus Ferrari movie about. That race, he had to take the lady who was married to the driver who would die in the hospital of the injuries from a crash to the hospital and I guess comfort her or whatever, and they mention him in this book. He showed us the book. And it's like every once in a while I used to kind of doubt some of the veracity of these stories, but then there's evidence of it, you know, and you go, oh, okay, well,
It's pretty.
You're not bullshitting at all. And, you know, he's got this really cool poster of being that army band that he was in. And it shows these people dancing on it. It's like a vintage, probably 1950s, I guess probably late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, that sounds about right when they would have those kind of like dances for people to mingle.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how old he would be and when. Probably about 22 or something, so you know, probably about 1950.
He has all this like really interesting art too. You know, like the wall, like
Did we forget MBTI talking about my dad?
Oh my gosh, we're totally not.
Yeah, my dad was a guy who worked at that race, like holding up a sign or something. You know, he didn't have some important job, but in fact, he was offered a job by the villain character in that movie, and he doesn't want to see the movie, in part because he doesn't want it to mess with his memories or disagree with his memories of the thing, and he views the villain in the movie as the good guy.
Yes.
He's 84?
I think so. 1937.
Yeah.
He and Jane were born.
He was around Korea, near the end of Korea, but didn't really see any action.
Which is also lucky.
Well, he was on a boat anyway, so it's not like the North Koreans had much of a naval presence. It's not like they're going to send out some boat made out of wood to attack a U.S. battleship, you know. I gotta get the steaks.
Okay. But, you know, so when I went in to get the bowls, I had asked, and he was like, I think you have some out there already, but I did the wash. I did the dishes. I put them in the dishwasher and put them away, so I knew that there were some in there already. I just felt like kind of dumb. Like, I felt dumb after. But basically, his dad was just like, just come, you know, don't even ask. Like, just come in, like, get the bowls and take 2 for yourself. It came down to, like, just take 2 for yourselves. And, but Jane seemed to have, like, a good time yesterday. She was really happy that we were together, you could tell, and she liked the music. She was liking the music, and she was eating really well too. She's been eating with her hands, which is obviously the best way to eat, the easiest way too, and she ate all the ham that was on her plate, and she had tons of iced tea.
She's been eating with her hands.
Yeah, she was eating with her hands.
Because you only really have one hand that works.
Right.
Yeah.
And your dad made sure that was like, but, you know, like, I guess that everything's okay with her, like, not using the utensils, and they said that she's been using her hands, and that's how she's been eating. So, like with the soup, she's been like sipping it with her mouth. So, kind of like a kid. They double checked to see who I was because they hadn't seen me with my shaved head, so they were kind of like...
I think my dad misunderstood.
Oh.
And thought that they just didn't know who you were. And that you just hadn't been around enough for them to recognize you or something.
Yes.
So he explained, but I don't think he explained that you got a haircut. I don't think he explained that's why they didn't recognize you. I think he explained that you're my girlfriend and you came around about this long ago and you've been here on several occasions. And
yeah.
That's anti-polar too, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like he doesn't get that. There's an obvious reason why they don't recognize her, and if he just tells them that will resolve everything.
Yeah, because I've been the girl who comes with Eric. When Eric visits, I visit. So I've been there.
It's a great example of anti-polar, really.
It is a great example of anti-polar. My mom is so anti-polar too. Just some of the things like.
This is kind of steak jerky. It's super well done.
Steak. I like steak jerky.
At least you know it's not undercooked.
Exactly.
That's quite good, actually.
I bet it is. In my mind, if like it's well done, you get like most of whatever the bacteria, you know.
I'll be right with you. It doesn't seem like a particularly well attended live stream. Certainly not a lot of chat going on. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, thoughts, queries, quandaries, conundrums, quantum physics questions? Qualifiers? Well, if not, then let's discuss the concept of the Varget. Now, the word virgin, as defined in the dictionary, is touched for the very first time. Ergo, it implies its opposite, the word Varget. A Varget is somebody who's had sexual intercourse before, but then made a vow of celibacy. So that they, right after, shortly after their last sexual experience, they were touched for the very last time. And thereafter they're a Varget. Now, obviously, not all Vargets remain celibate for the duration of their lives. Some people break their vows of celibacy. When that happens, what you end up with is what's known as a fallen Varget. But in the Middle Ages, they used to call them a befouled one.
Befouled.
Yeah, befouled. Befouled one, forsaken by all that is holy. Now, Between now and you next have sex, you are currently a Varget. Because you've been touched for the very last time, pending the next time. Warning of celibacy.
Warning of celibacy. I like that too, Winston's mom. Winston's mom, I wanted to let you know that I haven't forgotten about your astrology stuff. I haven't done. I've just been procrastinating, but I do want to say one thing that I noticed about your chart. That was like that's super cool. Is you have Jupiter. I'm sorry, the Sun trine Jupiter, and it's one of the luckiest aspects to have. It creates a lot of opportunities for the person, and Jupiter and the Sun get along very well. And the trine is a positive aspect, so it'll bring a lot of positivity to you. The only thing to watch out for is indulgence, because Jupiter can overdo things sometimes. So can the Sun. But it's a very lucky one, so congrats on that. That's a nice little nugget to have there.
I don't like vaping. Vaping doesn't feel good. Vaping feels unhealthy in a way that cigarettes don't.
It does. It makes me feel unhealthy too.
People say, well, you'll get used to it. Well, I'm already used to cigarettes. Cigarettes have larger particulates than vapes. So the thing about vapes is they're kind of nebulizers of nicotine, which means you get finer particles in your lungs, which the long-term effects of are yet to be determined. I'm hypothesizing that vapes turn out to be more unhealthy than cigarettes, especially with flavors.
In the first house too, so like you probably smile a lot. I would envision a Jupiter first house person to smile a lot, and to be a big personality, like.
I don't think Winston's mom smiles a lot, though. I bet based on typology, I bet she has a very flat ass.
Yeah, that would be.
Maybe she smiles a lot for an INTJ.
See, that's where typology is more right than astrology.
Well, I mean, the nice thing about astrology, it could be some other aspect that's more predominant that counteracts the and you can always come up with some story like that, you know.
Yeah, I have that. I definitely have that.
Less creepy ingredients. I want 6 stalkers in my vape. Is a stalker a creepy ingredient? How about a monster in the woods? Is that a creepy ingredient? Who smiles less, INTJs or ISTPs? INTJs, but it's close race. Would you agree with that?
What was the question?
Who smiles less, INTJs or ISTPs?
Ooh. I think INTJs smile less. Yeah. INTJs smile less.
I agree with you. I came to the same conclusion.
Cool.
But I think it's a close race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like my uncle, when I saw him, who's an ISTP in Indianapolis, he's like, I'm like, Uncle Tom. He's like, okay. Like, let's get over this.
Jonathan Basanti, did I type you as an INTJ? So let me tell you something. Based on all your chats, you seem like an INFJ.
Yes, this has been mentioned. We've actually had a conversation about this.
You certainly seem like an INFJ in the chat. So I may have typed you wrong. I've thought a lot about your various comments and stuff. You're quite quippy. You're a lot more quippy than I expect an INTJ to be. Successfully quippy, you know? Of course, if you are an INFJ, then the quickest way to get you to stop being quippy is to compliment you on being quippy. Then you'll immediately stop doing that because you don't want to seem as though you're chasing after that.
I finished your coffee because
That's totally fine. I didn't really like it very much.
The caffeine got to me. I'm like,
I do like the word quip.
I like the word quip too. ENTPs have really good quips. You're very quippy.
Yeah, I know. INFJs, I think, can fake their way through a couple of TE tests if I'm not careful. Right, they're reflective of deductive reasoning and not inductive reasoning. And if you're heavily inductive, which is to say, well, but that's the wrong way of looking at it. It's basically, if you're heavily linked towards things first meaning second, then you're going to have trouble with things that say, if all turtles fly and that dog is a turtle, then that dog must fly. Because you're going to say either, but turtles don't fly, or dogs aren't turtles, or dogs don't fly. Any of which are factually true and factually contradicts the statements that are said in that suppositional series there, right? Everybody needs to stop quipping now. That's enough quippery. You guys are leaving a trail of quipperphernalia.
Quipperphernalia.
Or is it quipephemera? Quipephemera. Sorry, you're leaving behind a trail of digital quipephemera. I'm not chatting. I'm leaving a trail of digital quipephemera. You just wait. I'll use my anti-quippage device.
Oh.
It's like an EMP for quippage. It's talking about some super serious topic that nobody wants to make fun of. That's the EMP for quippage.
Oh man.
Like talking about some dark topic.
Like heart disease or something.
Or even worse, yeah.
Yeah. Gout.
Now you start describing the particulars of genocide.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And then you go, okay, there goes all the quippage.
Oh.
Well, the thing is, genealogy questions generally can be solved fine by, like, ISTPs. ESTPs generally do pretty well on them, but not as well as NTPs because they involve SI. In other words, if you can't quite keep up with the flow of the question in real time, in terms of replacing the things with their slotted relationships, then SI helps you to still get it right. Quips and Pickles sounds like a delicious brand of breakfast cereal. Quips and Pickles. Quips and Pickles breakfast cereal. The delicious flavor of quips mixed with the delicious flavor of pickles and a breakfast cereal the whole family can enjoy.
Wow.
What do quips taste like?
That's a good description.
What goes well with pickles?
Burgers.
So it basically tastes like burgers and pickles. And milk.
Oh.
Good way, fly. You two fly, fly, so go away. Go away, fly, go away. You can't have my food, go away, you fly. You know, I'll tell you something important. And that's what I do around here, is I say important things about important subject matters. You can't spell quip without a Q. That's what I wanted to say.
Oh, before I forget, they say that I got a text that today's the last day that I could get one of my medicines.
Oh, okay.
What does that mean? Why would it be the last day?
Because they said, like, pick it up, like, 2 weeks ago, and you haven't picked it up yet, so there's some law that if people don't pick up their medications, they send it back, you know, some stupid shit like that. What was I gonna say? Something hugely, massively important?
Something about... I don't know.
I have to say I was rather touched by those things you said about my dad, Rachel. I appreciate that.
God. It's true.
Yeah, Hawaiians like, yeah, I'll retype you, Jonathan. I have enough doubt based on our conversations here that I'll retype you for free. Did we record the other one? Cutting repartee. Oh, cool.
So, I have a question for you, Jonathan Bislanti. Do you feel like you can use some mothering? Because I believe that INFJs could use some mothering. As in, we're weak in our SI. And SI is very much about, like...
Wouldn't that be true of INTJs too, though?
Yes.
I don't think it would be a good way to distinguish between the two. I think they both need mothering. I think all intuitives need mothering. Except for ENFJ. Well, they need a different kind of mothering. ENTJs need a different kind of mothering. But all intuitives do, really. It's like... I was thinking the other day about how going to sleep for me is kind of the perfect confluence of my first and fourth slot functions. I lie down, I get comfortable, I start pretending that I'm in a different world doing things, and it's NE in my head, SI in my body, and they're happening concurrently like that. And I figure there's got to be an equivalent kind of existence or moment in life for all the different types, right? Like, I don't know exactly what it is. I was hypothesizing that for Rachel, it's something like her ideal thing would be going on a road trip and stopping in random places, doing random things, taking photos, stuff that we've done before that she seems to enjoy and have maybe it seems to have less of a negative SI impact on her than it does on me. Driving around for a while makes me really kind of exhausted. But I also was thinking how it's kind of unfair that I'm so enabled. I guess she's not enabled to like go out and do things, but she sort of isn't enabled, you know. Like she could go on walks and stuff, but it's so easy for me to go into my fourth slot. I just need to go lie down, take a bath, eat some food. It's really straightforward, you know. And sometimes going to my fourth slot means like washing the decks off, getting all the peacock poop off the decks like I did earlier. That's kind of a fourth slot thing too. Taking the trash out, that kind of shit, you know?
I think maybe yoga. But like, I feel so, I don't, like, I use a lot, I notice I get SE when like, I'm angry for some reason, like, that's, like, as a teen, I was angsty, and I get like an edge, and I don't feel like that, so, like, I haven't been using my SE so much.
One thing that I was hypothesizing is that maybe an INFJ's ideal situation or setting or whatever, most comfortable state of being is watching a bunch of television shows, you know? In which case there'd be no reason to think that Rachel's not really getting enough of what she needs, which is basically a lot of NI time, but the SE stuff that's like the live streaming probably. That's where you like you do like to live stream sometimes.
Yeah, and actually, I would like to live stream more. Like sometimes if you're napping and like I want to talk, I should, you know, take advantage of the camera and the community because I miss talking with you as well. Even though I'm not as much of a talker, I appreciate the community a lot and have fun. I have fun on the live streams.
And the other thing is, I'm not necessarily very talkative, so it's not like Rachel and I are chatting up a storm. I'm actually quite quiet, I would say, most of the time when I'm not online, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't have a ton to say. I'm less quiet when I'm happier, and more quiet when I'm not happy, I guess. The thing is, Rachel, of course, continually wants to check to make sure that she's not, understandably, that she's not linked at all to my moodiness, but I continually repeatedly tell her, no, my moodiness is totally independent of her. It has everything to do with SI stuff, really. And that's, they say your 7th slot is your place of least resistance, but your 4th slot is your place of repeated failure, where it's really hard to find a balance with it.
Yeah, Jeremiah Fix, like maybe I could come in and I like to maybe I'll come out in with a topic or whatever, or a question. A lot of times I just like to chat. Like on my old YouTube, I would just tell stories and just chat and I feel most comfortable with this community, even more comfortable than calling a family member. So in times where I want to chat, I should really reach for the camera more often than I do.
And interesting you say that because you called your mom yesterday. That should have told me something. I didn't think about it. See, I'm not really that. That's part of being FI polar, right? It's like I'm not. In some ways, I'm super aware of what's going on with Rachel. In some ways, I'm super dense about what's going on with Rachel too.
You're fine. You're the best boyfriend I've ever had. I feel like you are in tune with what is going on with me, and
It was funny with the window earlier.
With the window?
So when we're driving, Rachel's FE tool has a tendency to mirror me with my window rolling up and down.
Yeah.
So when I roll down the window a little bit, she rolls down the window her window a little bit. When I roll mine up, she rolls her up. But then she's also aware of this, and so earlier I noted her fight the urge to roll down the window when I rolled down my window. But she had her hand on it.
Yeah, my hand
and she's leaving it there. I said, fighting the urge to roll down, huh?
And it was. Effie Tool is so mirrory. And I think that's why, your mom, she was reacting when we were chattier in a smiley mood, she was too. But when it's interesting, ISFJs really do the mirroring stuff too.
It really drives home just how selfish I am as well. It's the whole time I was there, I was being fussy about Eric stuff, It's just that 4th slot SI, 7th slot FI thing. Fuckers. Got some flies around here who are being a little excessively bold. Flies that I like to call the bold boys.
Yes, we like to call them the bold boys. Peter's been a bold boy lately. But I've been shooing him away, and I think he's getting it. He doesn't have ownership of that side porch over there. He can't just come over here and poop on the deck.
Right.
We don't mind feeding you, but
We've got a challenge establishing boundaries with the various animals. So the cat's determined now that there's like a 2:30 a.m. feeding time and a 6:30 a.m. feeding time. And that Eric's job is to get up and make sure those things occur. And of course, the problem is she's got the most effective possible strategy. She comes up and loves me and won't stop loving me until I get up. And so it's like you can't really be mad at her. And so you go, all right, come on. Let's go outside. And I give her some food, and I have to sit here. I'm up and down all night anyway, but there, motherfucker, die.
yeah, congratulations.
I got that fly. That one's dead now. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I'm up and down all night anyway, so it ain't no big thing or ding-a-ding-a-dong ding, but it's also kind of, it's like they get accustomed to what you provide, and then you feel obligated to provide that every time. She's already got us being continual doormen. Like, she'll scratch at either the doors to go in and out, and we're expected to get up from whatever it is we're doing and open the door for her either way, which we do consistently. So,
Yes.
of course she expects that. And you just have to resign yourself that that's your role in life with the cat.
So she's ISTJ, right?
Yeah, I think she's an ISTJ cat.
So where is FI for her?
Third slot.
Oh, no wonder.
Very
'Cause
selfish.
It is very selfish. I tell my mom, I'm like, I sometimes cannot help myself. Like, I just think of her and I have to pet her. And there's times where she's like, because she doesn't like it. But I can't help it.
At least this is not an exact science, okay? Typing animals is not an exact science.
Because we
but,
thought that she was an FI dom.
but after you've known one for a long enough time, you recognize what they are.
Yeah.
She's an ISTJ. She's got selfish, third spot
She's
SI,
selfish.
FI.
With her FI.
She's got SI dominant. She's always cleaning herself and licking herself all the time. And that's not the case for all cats. I've had plenty of cats who aren't SI, like Front Stack, who aren't very clean,
Yeah, and she's a
No, it's not all cats. You've not had... I agree, most cats are more SI than, say, most dogs, right? But my little dog Lacey was very SI. She was always biting and cleaning herself and stuff, Whereas I've had other dogs that don't give a F about their whatever. So I agree, usually dogs are less SI than cats, but this cat is more SI than most cats.
Yeah.
And I've definitely had cats that are not so SI.
And she likes to hunt. Like, she definitely was, you could tell she was partly raised by her mama cat because she goes hunting for, she likes to, like, sometimes test herself and run up the tree and run down it. And she goes after lizards. She loves going after lizards.
What type do you think Peter is, Rachel?
I think we still have it right with ISTJ.
You think Peter's ISTJ too?
I think so.
I'm wondering if Peter might be ISFJ. I'll tell you why.
Oh.
Because,
I hate being mean to him.
well, or maybe even ESFJ. Because he's, every time when I'm out there giving him pistachios, which I have to take the shell off of usually, so it takes a second between each one, he'll give me a little encouraging cluck after each one, which suggests he's maybe FE tool.
Tool.
I think if he weren't, then the words that little teenage one, that seems like kind of ESFP.
Yeah, he's an ESFP. For sure.
Super pushy, entitled.
Yeah, he even he pushes his mom away from food, and I'm like, this food is for both of you too. Don't But
Yeah, Peter's got much better manners than those ones. And the other thing, though, is Peter's not very sherry about his food. So when trouble comes around, if trouble comes at the same time Peter's here, trouble's in trouble because whatever food we put out for trouble, if trouble goes over to it, Peter will go over there and peck at him. Not to actually peck him, but just to let him know you are not allowed to eat. This is mine. So we have to wait for Pete to go.
Trouble's not
Trouble's
ESTP.
Well, you know, he may be an ESTP most of the year and ESFP when he's feeling in the when he's expecting the lady to be in heat, basically. Because he's actually quite well mannered nowadays. He just got.
Well, he got sprayed with the water. He
learned.
So here's what happened: is that trouble started to come around more and more, and he started taking over pee-pee spots. So we squirted him with water, and he went away actually for about a week or so. 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half. How long was he? He was away.
I think to some extent, maybe it is the case that all men briefly turn into ESTPs when they have sexual intercourse. When they want to have sexual intercourse. What type of prosecutor? Benger? I have no idea. I haven't watched the trial or anything. Are there any animals around who are intuitives? Is that a thing? I've had a cat that was obviously an intuitive before. I named him Normal because he was so abnormal. I think he was an ENTP. He died young. Got himself stuck up a tree. He was loud, talking all the time, running into shit. He seems like an ENTP to me. That was the death house. Oh, Laverne. In Laverne, it was just cursed. Everything died. Everything we touched died. It was insane.
So Elise S says animals are very intuitive, haha, horses especially. So I am born year of the rat, and I read in a book about Chinese astrology, and they warned rats around horses because horses and rats are opposite each other. And like this is stuff that they really do believe. Like in China, in this book it said in China, if they hear of a horse and a rat together, they're like the people shudder at the thought of the two together.
What do they say about pig and rat together?
They're good.
I'm definitely a pig.
Yeah, you are. I'm definitely a rat. I think I look like a rat too.
To some extent, I even identify with a little bit with the pig character in the show. A Korean Odyssey?
Oh yeah, me too. I think that'd be also.
He's a, like, I don't know what you call him, like a flamboyant boy band singer in Korea or something. But he's actually, like, he's nice, but he's also kind of just, I guess, gluttonous in some sense.
Oh my gosh, Elise, you're a horse? I was wondering. My brother's a horse.
You know what I say about horses, don't you? Horses, schmorses.
The opposite. What do you think of snakes? Because the opposite for pigs are snakes.
You know what I say about snakes? Snakes, schmakes.
Oh!
Burn. Any snakes around here? You know what I say about cocks, Jonathan Basanti? Cocks, schmucks.
Actually, the pig and the cocks are supposed to get along pretty well.
I mean, cocks, fine.
I don't know. This is stuff that I study. This is the NI stuff that I know a lot about. Because I thought I was an ox for a very long time, because 1985 is year of the ox, but I'm January 1985, and that year, well, if you're January and early February, you are the same year as the year before in Chinese astrology. So, in second grade, I learned that I was an ox, that 1985 was an ox. And then in college, I took a quiz, and it said to put in your birthday, and then it would show the Chinese astrology, and it came rat, and I was like, what? I'm a rat? Like, no way. Like, people don't like rats. They're in the sewer. Like, they're the reason for the plague. Like, I was thinking all these bad things about rats, and I had like this like existential crisis. And yeah, it's only like recently that, like, within this last like 7 years, that I've actually accepted being a rat.
I have a question for you. Let's say I were your friend, Judy. And Judy and you were on the phone, and she says, so tell me about something that you did one time with Eric as a couple that was fun.
We do a lot of things that are fun.
Tell me about one. I want to hear
one.
one.
You want me to narrow it down to one? I keep on thinking general. It's just like Hawaii.
What did you do in Hawaii?
Well, we went to watch people, we went to watch, like, the manta rays, right? They're manta rays. And the waves. And that was really fun.
On the boats?
Yeah, with the boats. That was really fun.
We got some good pictures there.
Yeah, we did. And actually, your background, that's a moment that stays in my mind, too.
That was fun.
Yeah.
We went down to the beach, and it was that weird tide where when you walk, it's photoluminescent on the sand, and the waves crash, it causes photoluminescence because of some kind of bacteria. Blue tide. We just happened to go there that night randomly. We had no idea it was going to be that thing. And then we got some cool pictures of it and stuff. It was neat. So, okay, Psylocke says, I'm a water pig. What are your elements? I didn't know you could be...
yes.
You could be more than just a pig.
Yes.
What kind of pig am I?
I don't know. We have to look it up. I think you're a fire pig. But...
Fire pig? That sounds like bacon.
Yeah, that does. I'm a wood mouse.
Okay. Chinese astrology. Pig, what element? I need to see before that.
Yes. What?
I'm a gold pig. No. Wait. Yeah, I'm a gold pig.
Yeah, yes. I never heard that
Gold
before.
pigs.
You're a gold pig.
The character of gold pigs, broad-minded, amicable. People of gold element and pig sign are broad-minded, amicable, and willing to help others. They value personal loyalty very much, and they also remember gratitude and try to repay it. They are highly recommended to try their best to increase their income and decrease their expenditure, and it's better for them to get into the habit of keeping accounts each day. Gold pigs are not as lucky as others in terms of fortune. Their finances gradually dwindle as a result of their extravagance. They always work with great eagerness and vigor, and will benefit from great success if they are thoughtful enough. Famous gold pigs include Justin Trudeau, Ricky Martin, Ewan McGregor, Kali Rocha, I don't know who that is, Erica Badu, Alfonso Ribeiro. Bittersweet is my destiny, it says.
Can we see mine?
Sure. Rat, what element? Chinese astrology. Rat, what element? I'm a gold pig. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The goldest pig that you ever did rig. Gold pig. You're a wood rat.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. Wood rats have strong principles and use strategies flexibly to reach their goals. They like to feel safe in life, however, they are often haunted by a sense of anxiety, and that's why they work so hard each day. They have a charming personality and are ready to care for and help others. They are also well versed in laws and regulations, follow traditional moral standards, have a strong sense of teamwork, getting along well with others, although they sometimes seem selfish. Wood rats don't curry favor with powerful people, and they are highly respected due to their strong sense of independence and self-esteem, leading to both negative and positive results. The negative results, they are unlikely to get promoted. The positive results, they have a harmonious family life without worrying about food or clothes.
They literally say destiny of wood rats bittersweet.
Bittersweet.
That's what you
They
said
are
about you.
people born in rat year corresponding to the wood element are miserable in childhood but are well fed and well clothed at middle age. Males live leisurely and independently. As for females, they are virtuous and talented both in work and life. Huh. Congratulations. You're the same as Katy Perry and LeBron James
Cool.
and Avril Lavigne, Jimmy Carter, Cristiano Ronaldo. These are all wood rats.
So
Let's see if we can look up compatibility.
Yeah.
Ability gold pig plus wood rat. But I want specifically gold pig and wood rat.
I know you can find it because I found it before.
You found the gold pig and wood rat?
Mm-hmm. There's one Chinese site that has it.
Alright, I'm in for this.
Compatibility. Try metal pig because I've heard of metal pig before, but not gold.
Metal pig, wood rat.
Oh.
That's so annoying. I'm not sure why that's doing that. That's really annoying that sometimes I cause the mic to mute without intending to by pushing something on the keyboard that causes it to happen.
Apparently, my Chinese astrology chart lacks in metal, so that It could be good.
And mine lacks in wood.
He doesn't know.
I got plenty of wood. You don't got to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about the audio go out. Not sure what that's all about.
Yeah.
Must be the aliens, some other paranormal shit.
Yep. That's what I equate it to now.
Listen. The alchemical processes of paranormality are constantly occurring around us all the time. We just have to keep our eyes open, our ears wide, and our beliefs free of skepticism. You know, Rachel and I, yesterday we identified 3 IFOs in the sky concurrently. 3 different planes. We identified them all as planes.
Yep. And then I saw a plane after that, and, you know, we were kind of...
I want to get a ratio of number of identified objects to unidentified.
Well,
So in order to get a ratio, I need a baseline of number of identified objects I see.
well, now we are aware that the more you look up at the sky, the more likely it is that you're going to see something.
There's a lot of O's up there. Okay, there's a
so-
lot of O's, unfortunately, and there's a lot of FOs.
But I have faith because I always wanted to find a 4-leaf clover, and I never found one until I purposefully started looking for one, and then I found one. So I think us purposely looking at the sky increases our chances of seeing a UFO.
Now, note, I was out here right on time for the eclipse last night, like 1:15 a.m. Guess what? It had gone from clear to completely overcast. You couldn't see a goddamn thing.
Wow.
The whole eclipse was
I
overcast.
saw some of it, actually.
Did you?
Yes, I did. I got up, around early 11 something, and it had started.
Oh, it had started already?
It was cut out.
Oh, my dad said 1 to 4. I guess he was wrong.
It probably was full 100%.
There was a lunar eclipse last night, but when I got up at 1 o'clock to look at it, based on my dad saying it was between 1 and 4 a.m., you couldn't see anything. It was completely overcast. And needless to say, once again, no UFOs. But, like Rachel says, I'm convinced one of these days I'm going to look up and be unable to identify an object in the sky. I'll be like, what's that? And Rachel and I will be like, I don't know. And I'll film it. And I'll send it into Paranormal Caught on Tape.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I hope this isn't something that you've wanted dreamed of, but I don't want to jump out of a plane.
Why would I want to jump out of a plane?
Because
I don't even like to get on the planes in the
skydiving
first
is
place.
something that a lot of people want to do.
Not me.
Me neither. And after watching those videos, and hearing, so we watched 2 videos of miracles that happened with people skydiving, serious miracles, and I heard a story, you can hear it on YouTube, of Leonardo DiCaprio almost dying because he went skydiving.
No, there are lunar eclipses, Boba Fett. God, why would you deny the existence of lunar eclipses? Of all the things to have an opinion about, I don't believe in lunar eclipses. Saying it's not really an eclipse? Is that what you're saying?
You have theory on them? Are they is that God's cardboard? He's doing cardboard cutouts with us?
God's cardboard, I like that.
Yeah.
That didn't seem very comforting, frankly, Elise.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just I'm chicken shit when it comes to like skydiving. I'm totally chicken shit.
I'm not necessarily, but I'm beyond the age where I'm interested in taking random unnecessary risks. I'm growing increasingly risk averse. As I think one does as one grows older.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah.
But you can look right at a lunar eclipse without worrying about your eyes.
Yes. For solar eclipse, you need the special glasses.
Right. Glasses made entirely of poo.
That's true. Well, sometimes you don't. Like, okay, so one of these, I don't want to ruin it because, like, you should watch it for yourself. But, there was an accident in the sky with two of the jumpers. One crashing with another, and then the one that was crashed
Knocking
into
him out.
got knocked out.
Midair.
Right. Because they were falling at a pace of like 200 and something, like 45 miles an hour. It's just like, a real big hit of reality in my mind. You know, like I know people who do it for a living, and they love it and they wouldn't have it any other way. I'm just saying for myself, like, I am chicken shit when it comes to skydiving, and I don't really have an interest in doing it.
I have two memorable near-death experiences. The first was in college. I was drunk at the beach, and I decided to swim out to this little island. And it wasn't that far away, really, I guess. It didn't look that far away. But the currents going in and out of there were really strong. And when I got out there, I realized there's no place to climb onto. It was all like this super sharp rocks, and I couldn't get up on there and rest. So I just had to turn around and swim back to land. And
Oh my gosh.
there was, even though I was drunk, there were some moments of panic there as I realized I was fighting against a current that was taking me further out to sea. But I managed to fight through it and made it back shore. That was one of them. The second one was a much more definite near-death experience, which is I was driving and I fell asleep at the wheel and drifted off the road onto this side dirt thing and into this culvert. And it woke me up, and I looked up, and there's this brick, like this concrete culvert wall coming right at me, like, and I slam on the brakes, and so that was, and at that point I decided that I better pull off and go to sleep. That was sketchy. That was really scary, but that's my most I mean, then there was another occasion when I almost died on my motorcycle, where I pulled this maneuver, I must just barely miss clipping this fucker. But that was scary. And also, another time on my motorcycle, there was this guy who was oblivious, who was coming into my lane, just like, and I didn't really have anywhere to go. And I had to kind of like slam on the brakes and get out of the way of the guy who was going to run into me from behind real quick, out, like, just pull this crazy maneuver that should have made me crash, but somehow I stayed aboard of it, and I was just like, oh my god, I almost just died. I don't know how I pulled it off. Because it was like I had to, at freeway speeds, screech, go like this and put back on the acceleration before this guy came up on me. It was like there was no dude. This guy was gonna crash into me from behind. This guy was coming here. There was no place to go in front of me. I was on this side, this lane over here, and I had to pull this crazy maneuver that somehow I managed to pull it. I have no idea how.
Wow.
So,
So, like, I think that's a miracle. Like, someone was, like, looking out for you, like, situation. That's how I see things, though. You know?
my SE8 kicks into gear sometimes, and in ways that I don't understand how it happens, and I'm through a thing with, like, what just happened? You know, as you probably notice sometimes when we're driving, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Shit goes down around me, and my SE kicks into gear, and I just managed to get out of the way of shit.
Yeah.
The boy holding the spoon that never was.
I don't know that one.
All the spoons that I know about have been and continue to be. Or at least have been. It seems conceptually impossible that they never were.
So, do you still think what do you think that my tri-type is? 7 or 9? First. I've been wanting your opinion for like a few days now.
You might actually be a 4 first. What do you think about that?
That's interesting.
It's like, look at all the things you've done with your hair.
Yeah.
It's like you're on an ongoing challenge to test to see the limits of your self-expression before somebody tries to curtail it.
Yes.
I talk about getting a mohawk, you know.
I do care. Yeah, I it's
you know.
yeah.
The thing is, I think that may just be your 4 coming out because you're a 9 and you're in an environment that's not taking advantage of that at all. In other words, your 9ery around here doesn't result in people walking all over you or asking too much of you or thinking they can control you or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, you're afforded a lot of autonomy.
Yes.
By the environment, as am I. You know, we both are.
Yeah, we both are. It's
It-
nice.
It's nice. It's also a little bit of a dark playground sometimes because it's easy to settle in, you know? The thing is, are we in the Matrix? I think that NI people are probably more likely to identify with that than SI people are. Because with SI, there's a connectivity to your biological being that makes it seem... I mean, you can explain it the same way. You can say, well, it's just simulated simulations, but I don't know. There's a concrete reality to SI that is super particular and biological. Interestingly, I read a headline of something that said somebody's now arguing that AI is not possible because of some. I have long argued that AI attaining sentience isn't possible. We already know how to do that. It's called reproduce human beings. But I made a number of arguments as to why I think it's not possible that that the sentience can be attained by AI. But fundamentally, my position is because it requires all the their cognitive functions, which require the biological half of them as well. It's we intuitives that tend to talk about this stuff, and those who are most distant from their biology, like Elon Musk, are most interested in uploading their consciousness to a whatever, not getting the fact that they too cannot escape their biological selves as part of their being, a fundamental and unavoidable part of their being, you know?
Yes. Well, actually, the first time that I took a tri-type test, I got 7, 4, 8. But I was also living at home.
You had a lot of cause to be
Yeah.
angry, and also
Yes.
you weren't like, you were continually experiencing some symptoms of an untreated problem.
Right. So, but then the most recent one that I took actually was with Peter Dentici, and 5 was tied with 7 for first, then 9, and then I think 4. But I've been musing about like the 9 part of me because I'm not very in touch with it. But I always thought that I was more like my dad than my mom, even though my dad was always more extroverted than me. And I think that has to do with the 9. But I could be 4 first. I mean, I believe in
I think you're a 9 first.
a 9 first.
Yeah. So the point is, can you get self-aware sentience in an artificial intelligence? So that's the question, and the answer I think is probably no. And I've made that argument for a long time. The thing is, Enneagram's an interesting addendum to personality explanations. I worry that people answer too many questions that begin with, well, then why meh with Enneagram stuff, which undermines the legitimacy somewhat of functions if you use that explanation too much.
I think functions are with you since like I've been thinking about how when I was younger I was so introverted, like before really having an understanding of what introverted was. Like I knew I was shy, but
You knew you were shy, but you didn't know why.
yeah.
You saw in your eye at a level so high and wondered if I or she or Diana, Princess of Wales.
Limits of AI by Jordan Peterson.
It's frustrating to me, of course, as somebody who had been talking about a lot of these things, that though I am ahead of the curve in talking about matters, I'm never the voice of any of these things, right? And now you might just call that being a hater or something, but it's the truth that this has been the story of my life, right? I started off saying all this shit about like cop violence and stuff. Years and years and years go by. Nobody listens to Eric. Everybody's saying, oh, Eric, right? And then everybody wakes up. And I think there were a couple people on Facebook who said something like, this must make you feel pretty good. And the answer was no, because they're doing it wrong. It's about race, you know? But regardless, the point is, somebody who's who's not ahead of the curve always ends up being the voice of the thing. It's kind of frustrating because, of course, they get it wrong. You know, I sometimes feel like that bittersweet destiny of Chinese astrology is right for me. That I'm just sort of destined to be out of time by one step, one way or the other, step ahead or step behind, you know? And either way is the same result. But that's just part and parcel of wanting novelty, I guess. Like, wanting novelty and wanting authorship.
So I found this novelty for sure. They say that 7 and 9 is one of the most compatible relations in Enneagram, and I would have to agree if that's the case.
Well, I've noted how you and I are such that my 8 is basically completely disarmed with you. I sometimes get mad at Rachel, but I never express it really because it's always irrational when I do. It's like, you got the wrong size sandwich, which is one of our big fights. When I told Rachel to get the giant and she got a regular large size one or something,
I don't know,
and that was not going to be enough sandwich for us. This is again another issue where food comes into play. If Eric's hungry, watch out. It's trouble. Trouble is going to ensue when Eric is hungry. I mean, listen, Elise S., I agree with you that the criminal justice system is a nightmare, but we need to remember where the problems lie. Problems lie, number one, tied for number one are drug laws and plea bargaining. Get rid of those, you get rid of 99% of the injustice in the criminal justice system. And that's one to grow on. It's true.
It is true.
Eric's speaking truth about Ruth. That's my grandma, Ruth. My family's like a smorgasbord of old lady names. I'm a smorgasbord of old lady names, like Gladys and Agnes and Frangus and Bling. Those aren't old lady names, Eric. I mean, listen, Elise S., I'm with you. If I were going to go into law, I'd want to be a public defender because therein lies the justice, right? Therein lies the juiciness of justice. I'm gonna go into law, I'd become a public defender, you know, 'cause therein lies what's going at a high rate. The juiciness of justice. Justice is juicy, justice is good. Justice is better than hitting on the head with wood. Justice improves everybody's life. Justice is the kind of thing you can take home to your wife and say, look at this. Prosecutors, don't get me started, Elise. I put in decades into this line of argumentation, so don't even get me started, please. You're gonna get me started, and then we're gonna have a problem. I'm gonna start ranting about shit. Don't get me started, okay? Because I'm the guy who wrote the song. He's a perjurer. He's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. Under Sheriff Barrett, he's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. And Tracy Beverlyn colluding with him. I guess that's why she hasn't arrested him yet, Jim. There's a song about a prosecutor and a sheriff's deputy in Pratt County that I'll pull up here shortly, okay? It's a little ditty. Maybe I'll pull it up right now and play it for you. I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna be very fond of it, Elise S. You and I share a passion for justice. I appreciate that.
I do too.
That's why she's not a perjurer. He's a perjurer. Perjurer. Alright, hold on a second. Let me get the audio set up. Not really any video to see, so no point in videoing. Okay, here we go. Perjurer. He's a perjurer. Perjurer. He's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. Colluding with him is Tracy Beverlyn. That's why she's not arrested him, I guess, Jim. Under Sheriff Barrett, perjurer. He's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. I said, under Sheriff Barrett, he's a perjurer. He's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. Colluding with him is Tracy Beverlyn. That's why she's not arrested him, I guess, Jim. Under Sheriff Barrett, perjurer. He's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. I said, under Sheriff Barrett, he's a perjurer. He's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. Colluding with him is Tracy Beverlyn. That's why she's not arrested him, I guess, Jim. Under Sheriff Barrett, perjurer. He's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. I said, under Sheriff Barrett, he's a perjurer. He's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. Colluding with him is Tracy Beverlyn. That's why she's not arrested him, I guess, Jim. Under Sheriff Barrett, perjurer. He's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. I said, under Sheriff Barrett, he's a perjurer. He's a perjurer. The message of this song clear. Colluding with him is Tracy Beverlyn. That's why she's not arrested him, I guess, Jim. Under Sheriff Barrett, perjurer. He's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. I said, under Sheriff Barrett, he's a perjurer. He's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. Under Sheriff Barrett, perjurer. Under Sheriff Barrett, he's a perjurer. He's a perjurer. He likes to perjure himself. Oh, under Sheriff Barrett, you totally perjured yourself on that affidavit, and I called you out on it in song form. That's the worst way to get called out on something. It's the worst way. You know you fucked up, you get called out on song form. It was 100,000 million years ago. Time ran slow. Nobody had to show. Place those slabs below and let them go. They will start to grow. More years into tears gnashing through. Holy slabs come to view. Unchangingly true and eternally new. But when the slope appears in George today, options at large show other ways. Give each a chance now, once quickly check, but don't get caught standing on deck. The slope presents a fork. It's not easy stepping short. Too far along to turn around. The better course was headed ever north. Now there's a fitter force, enemy ground. It was 100,000 million years ago. Time ran slow. Nobody had to show. Place the slabs below. Let them go. They will start to grow. More years ensue. tears gnashing through, holy slabs come to view. Unchangingly true and eternally new. But when the slope appears in George today, options at large show other ways. Give each a chance now, once quickly check, but don't get caught standing on deck. This slope presents a fork. It's not easy stopping short. Too far along to turn around. Perhaps a better course was headed ever north. Now there's a fitter force enemy ground. It was 100,000 million years ago.
Wonderful.
El Nino, my ass. You call those storms. Where is the rain? Those drizzles don't count, I drizzle more when I be in the sink, which is just the right height to catch all of the undesired splatter. When I'm done, I'll go up there and climb a ladder. I will go up there and take me a bucket and pour water inside. And I'll say, hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom. Hey, Mr. Cloud, won't you drop it from the bottom? Hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom on me. Thanks, Rachel. You're a sweetheart.
Thank you.
You're a sweet darling with a heck of a sunny disposition.
Thanks, Beck. I love you.
I love you too. With my heart filled with gladness. Yeah, okay. Let me open up a meow. Let me open up a meow, meow, meow. Let me open up a meow, meow, meow. Then you see the meow, 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 meow. Okay, so close all these things. Yeah. Now I'm gonna look for the old set list bobet list, as it's called. I'm gonna put it to owned by me. There it is. Make it like this. Then full screen. Dismiss. Go like meow. Yeah. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is gonna pull up over here in this fashion. Sorry for the delay, everybody. But don't worry, it's gonna be worth it. Oh yeah, it's gonna be worth it. When you get to see what I'm seeing while I'm seeing it live in front of your very eyes, you're gonna go, wow! Like that.
Yeah.
Which is the best kind of way to say wow.
It really is. Wow.
Wow!
Wow.
Like that.
Like that, yeah. Wow.
Like a real wow. Or you're really genuinely shocked and amazed.
Wow.
Now, sarcastic wow would be more like this. Wow. Oh, yeah, Eric, we've never seen that before. You adding a window. That's really amazing. Alright, here we go. More like a Joey Lawrence whoa. Whoa. Yeah, that is also appropriate. Whoa.
Whoa.
Alright, there. Now everyone can see everything and nobody can see anything at the same time. That's a pretty amazing accomplishment.
It is.
You're living on a time frame I will never know. Alienation and humanity's soul. Imagine you a future after the collapse, returning to the urgency of isolated past. You're picturing community, freedom, metaphysics, while you're hunting buffalo and you're picking red delicious. Knowledge of the seasons, wisdoms of old. Fires blazing in the night to keep away the cold. Hostilities kept at bay by what you think is in the way of life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. Imagining a history that never could have been. You lecture at the college, advancement is a sin, lamenting disconnection and every corporate act, asserting all your feelings and ignoring all the facts. Hostility is kept at bay by what you think is in the way.
What you think is in the way
Of life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. You find modernity just so banal. Wish you had been born any time but now, and your experience won't run afoul of exceptions you might allow. You visualize nobility sipping on some port. Their tribes of peaceful savages and beautiful comport. With few of history's people ever thusly did purport. 'Cause life was solitary, nasty, brutish, poor, and short. Hostility is kept at bay
Hostility is kept at bay
by what you think is in the way
by what you think is in the way
of life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. Go through the chorus again, okay? Hostility is kept at bay
Hostility is kept at bay
by what you think is in the way
by what you think is in the way
of life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. With an agave weatherman.
Hi, Peter.
Okay, Chebere. What does Chebere mean? Chevron-like? Very chevron-like? Thank you. I've always aspired to be like a major gasoline providing corporation. How about we do Cloudy Day in Los Angeles? But
Okay.
we just won't put up any lyrics for it. Because I think we'll do. I don't think I have the proper lyrics. I think we'll do better without any lyrics.
Okay.
Are
I'll
you-
follow your lead. Because I don't.
Alright, so we'll just sing it together, and you sing it where you want to, when you want to, okay?
Okay.
It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Troubles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Someone buy us some more time. Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. Life is strange. or just be soon forgotten. Noise is sort of based on what I see here, and also on what I avoid.
It's a
Very cloudy day in Los Angeles, and today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles, cloudy day in LA. I'm a sort of evangelist, but I have something to say, something to say. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like that song. I really like to play that song.
I'm glad.
Rachel, please do sing along with Matter of Mood too if you want to.
Matter mood?
Yeah. When I was younger, it seemed that everything gleamed. I don't know what happened to me, but I've lost that sense of urgency, and I don't think that I'll ever see it again. If you follow my lead, you'll discover I'm loster than you. And you'll want to know the way to get back out to wherever it was you thought you knew. And tomorrow will be just like today. I'll be lost in too. It's a matter of mood as much as a matter of will. And the things I do and the direction I point to still seem a part of me, though departedly. And I wonder if I'll ever see them again. Bum-ba-dee-da-da-dee-da-dee-da, bum-ba-dee-da-da-da-doo. Bum-ba-dee-da-da-da-da-da, bum-ba-dee-da-doo-doo-doo. We need to see. We need to know. We need a pen happening down by our means to judge a logic that life is devisively unlike, and from which we'll rarely budge. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they just assign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities ensuing heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Colton, Kirsten, and Desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call it destruction from the whole damn world. Judy shares now her limits, hoping Julie will too. Carrie shares for 4 minutes. He just can't share things like they do. Judy always thought that she should have got to when she had the chance to buy. Julie soon forgot about should and not, although she ought to recall she'll die. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These power when backstabbing entities ensuing heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, and dithering, we're stuck in such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. I didn't really play that one that well. Sorry. Peter is there. Would you mind giving him some? He likes the food the cats don't like as much.
Okay.
That wasn't my best rendition of that. I want to try this brooding song. So let's do that. Next.
I'm gonna go inside to pee. I'll be right back.
Okay. Just brooding here won't do any good, but brooding's more and more my style. I seek the cheer ways of standing where we stood, 'cause I've been stuck here a while. That's despite a natural selfishness that makes it easy to have fun. The flutters in the gut become a fist as all my visions come undone. I tried to stream, distract, and dream the afternoon away, but heavy new realities bear down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it. For reasons still unsaid, but still I need to get out of me what's inside my head. It seems like everybody's so sensitive. I'm ready to just get mad. I seek the simple ways of living like a kid, 'cause who wants to be the dad? Have we lost our sense of scope and scale? Our capacity to laugh? The sense to know when not to wail, and how to do the golden calf. I tried to stream, distract, and dream the afternoon away, but heavy air and reality bear down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it. For reasons still unsaid, but still I need to get out of me what's inside my head. And so I'm sad, sad for me, sad for her, unhappily, and what you call sorrow I call home. Blues that sing clear down to the bone, down to the bone. Still I'm sad, sad for me, sad for her, unhappily, and what you call sorrow I call home. Blues that sing clear down to the bone. Well, that was okay. You know, you can see some of my stuff I execute better than others. You know, when I really kill it, it's better. When I'm having a little trouble, you can tell. I can tell anyway, you know. Hopefully I'll do this one well. Oh, well, he's butter tart, lemon squeeze, the friendliest guy that you will see. Yes, he wants to be your friend, but he comes from around the bend, so it would be a while till he sees you again. He's butter tart, lemon squeeze, he's a friend to you and me. He's international delight, favorites go to right-hand guy. He's international like him, and he is also busy like his friend, the beaver bee. Busiest creature, busy as a bee, busy as a beaver, and so much busier than butter tart, lemon squeeze. Well, he's butter tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-da-ba-ba-doo-da. Butter tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-day. But it's butter tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-da-ba-ba-doo-da. Butter tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-day. And if you go to visit him for tarts, remember to bring something sour or tart. of sugary treats because he's pucker tart and not pucker sweet. Well, he's pucker tart, lemon squeeze, the friendliest guy that you will see. Yes, he wants to be your friend, but he comes from around the bend, and it will be a while till you see him again. He's pucker tart, lemon squeeze, he's a friend to you and me. He's international delights, favorite go-to right-hand guy. He's international like him, and he is also busy like his friend Beaver Bee, busiest creature, busy as a bee, busy as a beaver, and so much busier than pucker tart, lemon squeeze. Well, he's pucker tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-dee-ba-da-ba-ba-doo-da. Pucker tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-dee-ba-day. Yes, he's pucker tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-dee-ba-da-ba-ba-doo-da. Pucker tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-dee-ba-day. Pucker tart. A little too fast. Wasn't great. You know, because I suck mostly. But that's just part of being me. Doomed to bittersweet mediocrity for the rest of my life. 30,000 days. Too many expectations. Not even worth a damn. 30,000 nights. Sleep off the intoxication. Otherwise you won't escape the plan. I've wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I'm tired of doing it wrong. I want direction and have all along. Wait until I know. Or is that just hesitation? Clarity's no good, or just chance is gone. What I need to show is a toe below my station. I'm tired of doing it wrong. I've wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody who knows the key? 'Cause I think I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, I think I'm doing this wrong. Yes, I think I'm doing this wrong. Doing it wrong. That expresses my mood at the moment. I feel like I'm doing things wrong, you know? Like a wrong pants, like wrong in pants.
I think you're doing it.
Well, it's your son. I am extraordinarily grateful to your son's kind regard. Tell him so. I really appreciate it. It's very nice of him to say. See if I can pull off Gerald. Not Gerald. Gregory. Here's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them. But every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he's denied the chance to yell at them. And Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them. But every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied the chance to yell at them, until the bridge brings a new approach. Sneakily he'll try to Gregory in disguise, and in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive. I rest his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, and in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive. I rest his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, and in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive. I rest his eyes. I wouldn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, and in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive. I rest his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise. That's fun to play when I gotta remember that last part of the bridge. I keep fucking the last part of the bridge up, but it's fun to play. Once we get that song down, I gotta tap along with it, then it falls into the right beat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Stop smelling my baby. Great lyric.
Linehan.
Stop smelling my baby. Stop smelling my baby.
Stop smelling.
Stop smelling my baby. Stop smelling my man. Stop smelling my baby. Stop smelling him now. I know he smells so good and fresh and new and foul.
Where's the tambourine?
Stop smelling my baby.
Yeah, stop smelling my baby.
Stop smelling my baby. The smell belongs to me. If you were smelling it too, then that would make us not two but three. So stop smelling my baby. Stop smelling my baby. Stop smelling the pits. Stop smelling the nape of her neck. Stop smelling the tits. Stop smelling my baby. No, you can't taste her and said, I'm sorry, that's not okay. No, you can't touch her neither, you gotta stay away. Stop smelling my baby. Stop using your nose. You think that smelling her is a big series of yeses, I tell ya, it's no's. Stop smelling my baby. You can't smell her hair. Stop smelling my baby. You can't see her underwear. Stop smelling my baby. Let me turn this mic down a little bit. Now we got percussion, then it's gonna hit a little hop and peak, and perhaps I ought instead to turn up the compression a lot more. But you chew. I think I'll turn compressor up a little bit more. I'll put it like yo, maybe like that. Yacky yak yak. I'll turn up release a little bit and mac is your boop. Okay, that's a little bit more compression, so that should be fine now. Let's continue with our Smelling My Baby song, which I was enjoying playing. I think it's a great song, and it's an important message to the world as well. Stop smelling my baby. Stop smelling her clothes. You stop smelling my baby. Stop using your nose. No, you can't taste her instead. No, you can't go and lay in bed. Stop smelling my baby. If you wanna go and look at my girl, I guess I can't stop that. If we're in a public place and you keep a respectable distance, why not? But if you wanna bring your nose, push it up a against her clothes. Then you are guilty of smelling my baby. Stop smelling my baby. Stop smelling her pits. You can't smell on the nape of her neck or smell on her tits. Stop smelling my baby. The top of your head. Because if you smell the wrong spot, though it might smell good, you're gonna wake up and you'll be dead. Stop Smelling My Baby is a great song. A great and wonderful song of truth and justice. Stop smelling my baby. Whatever else you do, please stop smelling my baby. You said you're selling my baby, but I think that you're smelling her. And that's not okay, ma'am, sir. So stop smelling my baby. Yeah. Stop smelling my baby. It's a great lyric.
It was a great song. It was a great, it's a great example of teamwork as well.
Yeah. Whoever put the lyric there knew that it was a good lyric right away. Alright, let's play Gerald. Gerald has a thought. Gerald has a lot. Gerald has a plot to get to margarine tater tots. He's got a good idea for a name-changing business. Thinking how about what's it called Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. Gerald always thought there'd be chance enough to return to work left rough. He'd get back to it eventually, but his visions piled up and his plans would interrupt all the work that started off so hopefully. And now his mind is back on his business, thinking of changing factless to listless, so how all the people will shout his name. And Gerald knows he understands ever more clearly now. He won't provide explanation regarding the why or the how. He'll see you and know you from inside your heart. Exciting, delighting, Gerald plays his part. But Gerald still knew there's too much to do, and he drops time in the underview. Too much to rebut, so where now and what? Too much time spent nitpicking this cue with you. Gerald has a thought. Gerald has a lot. Gerald has a plot to get the margarine tasty spots. He's got a good idea for a name-changing business. Thinking now about what to call Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. Gerald has a thought.
Yeah, Lisa, that rules.
Let's see here. Let's play this song here. Well, Sammy has a story that need be told. This is a song for an open road, and such a thing must always do its job. Married up Jeb, turned 19, 4 years in, 3 kids queen. Weary now and questioning by agency, our basis discretion. Locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression, making sure those underneath them always run. Doug at 20 thought bourbon fun, and likewise Doug at 21, but so forth well up into middle age. What he thought had set him free became his whole identity. Now Doug's about another drunken rage. you incentives, but they haven't got a thing that's wrong. Everybody panicked about the kids. Lock 'em up with expectation. Mathematics to produce success. Or propose more undue duress. Agency outpaces discretion. Locking in our courses way too young. The agency convert is really just pressure. Making sure those underneath them always run. Without consent, it's really just oppression. By parasites surviving on their wages earned by lying, while they feed their fear of dying. Yeah, they feed upon the futures of the young. I'll put that, yeah. Didn't play that particularly well. Okay, I got like one more song. I mean, then it's time to go. Let me try Amelia. Amelia, go from that place. They come to you, the details of your case. Amelia, when you rise up above, floating ahead and soaring like a dove, what will they say when they look at you, then moving sideways in the space you're in? Inside long with your thirsty grin. Amelia, can't you see that you and I will never be? Amelia, yet you're still free, with too much opportunity to leave out in the rain. Amelia, I'm watching you fail for sure, no matter what we do. Amelia, when you rise up above, floating ahead and flowing like a dove, what will they say when they look at you, then moving sideways in the space you're in, and tearing sidelong with your thirsty grin? Amelia, can't you see? You and I will never be. Amelia, yet you're still free, with too much opportunity to leave out in the, too much opportunity to leave out in the, too much opportunity to leave out in the rain. Amelia. Alright, that was kind of a sloppy mess, but whatever. Alright, that's enough of that. So, although I do dislike ending on failure, I think maybe I want to play it through Cloudy Day in Los Angeles again. Okay. So I like to play it, and it'll clear my palate of my bad song. Rachel, please feel free to sing along if you wish.
I do want to.
I'd rather you sing with this one than play that, probably.
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to play too, or?
Actually, just sing.
Okay.
We're gonna have to practice with that some. Some songs that go easy with that and some are hard. It depends on what we're playing, you know?
True.
It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles, cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. Life learns strange to be forgiving. Stay awake all night. Voices telling you to give in. We'll try to stop your will to fight. But whether I'm supposed to be here or just be soon forgotten, noise is sort of based on what I see here and also on what I avoid. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles, and today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles, cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say, something to say. That was much better than the previous song that we played. Okay, so that's gonna do it for the singings and the songs. And I appreciate those of you stick around to listen, and any of you who afford our music, your attention is greatly appreciated.
Yes, it is.
You know, it's like I was driving around today with Rachel, and we were listening to Chappie Tracks, which is our hit songs from the world. And then we got back, I put on a couple of our songs like Gregory and Cloudy Day, and I thought, you know what, these stand up well. I'm surprised. I'm happy. And yet I also think, well, it stands up well, but I've had a lot of people tell me like Gregory in Disguise is a really catchy song, but somehow I don't ever see it catching on. Like it does the thing that most of my videos do, which is reach a certain point about 500-600 and it sort of stalls out, you know. So I don't know. I'd like to think that at least one or two of my songs would be good enough to succeed on its merits, so to speak.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem to happen. And I've got plenty of stuff that could potentially try to catch people's ear, I think. I mean, I get better now than I used to be. And of course, there's a limited market for acoustic guitar singing stuff. It needs to be a fully produced track that's good to really be broadly appealing, I think. But I have some of those, I think, that qualify, but I guess I just need to do more and better songs. I should do a recording of 100,000 million years ago. No, I'm not on Spotify. I'm not officially published my music, you know, like in records or whatever. Gregory is a really British name. Gregory.
Yes, it is.
My name's Gregory McGregorson.
Gregory McGregorson.
Gregory Gregerson.
Gregory Gregerson.
I'm from England.
England.
I like to watch football.
I like to watch football.
I like to watch football on the pitch.
I like to watch football on the pitch.
After I get down from my flat, I take the lorry to the football pitch to watch my football club play football.
That's too much any for me.
Would you like to get a pint at the local after a football club match on the pitch?
On the pitch.
That's how British people talk. If you're in Britain, that's all you hear all day long. People talking about football, pitch, lorries, flats, perambulators.
I think I would take on the accent if I was there. FE2, do you know?
Yeah, you'd probably pick it up. Being any SI, I'd probably be extra American sounding.
Oh my gosh!
That'd probably be extra American sounding.
It
if I
will
was saying
be.
one. Hey everybody, how are you?
Gosh.
I'm really happy to be here.
Exactly. I'm really happy to be here.
I mean, I sound pretty American in general. I guess I just sound more California.
You do.
If I wanted to sound more American, I'd just be like more California.
Yeah, you would.
Well,
I would.
at least that reminds me of my new brand, which is called Fajot Buffet. Fajot Buffet. Fajot Buffet, okay? Now, it is spelled Faggot Buffet, but it's pronounced Fajot Buffet, or Fajot Buffet, depending on who you ask. It's a hot new brand. Fajot Buffet.
Yes, we've had this conversation, I forgot.
It's my hilarious new brand. What do you mean? That's not what that says. It doesn't say meow meow buffet. It says Fajot Buffet.
Fajot Buffet.
There's a big argument between people who say it's pronounced Fajot Buffet versus people who say it's pronounced Fajot Buffet. I think it's Buffet. I'm in the Buffet camp. It makes high-end purses and shoes for ladies.
This.
It's couture. It's all haute couture.
What? Yeah.
Haute couture is the fanciest fancy, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, that is.
It's
My mom knows about it. I don't know how to say it.
This shirt's extremely haute couture.
Extremely.
Run for it. These are my bosoms.
Thanks for sharing.
These are my bosoms. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Central Times on TWFP.
Who wants to go to the local boutique Fajot Buffet and look at purses and shoes? I do.
We do it together.
There's all these gay men coming in there. Aww. This isn't what I thought it was going to be at all. I tell you what makes me laugh is the idea of in the 50s, the North Koreans sending out wooden boats to attack the U.S. Navy. Yeah, well, that guy's obviously rolling, right? He's rolling enough to have that truck and those, and in addition, after buying that truck, he still had 2 full bags of money. I'm assuming there's $100 bills in there, you know. So maybe Fajot Buffet will be opened right next door to Just Balls, which is across the street from Just Bells. If you recall. YouTube deletes your boobies comment? Oh, actually, I have boobies on my blacklisted word. Because for a while, I had this group of bird enthusiasts coming here, and they kept talking about various forms of boobies, and I just was sick of the bird talk, so I said, I'm banning that word. So I take a black-footed boobies, white-footed boobies. It's just like, no more birds. This is not the Audubon Society. Get out of here, you bird watchers.
I'm glad you stood up for yourself.
Yeah, that's why I had to ban that word around here. The battle at Lake Changjiang. The Koreans are very upset. You had your nips pierced, but I had to take them out when I was jailed. Well, that's because, you really probably don't want pierced nipples in jail. It seems like something people could grab onto and hurt you with. I don't want pierced nipples regardless.
That's something that I don't want either.
I want to pierce one of my bones inside of my body. That's really hardcore. I want to get a clavicle piercing. I'm going to pierce my clavicle bone.
Your clavicle is so stunning.
I've got a lovely clavicle. People have told me that my whole life. They said, Eric, there's nothing else about you. You've got an absolutely lovely clavicle. You should accentuate it with a piercing. Okay, well, this has been a 3-hour stream. I think I'm about running out of streamergy. And there's a new anime that my daughter has recommended.
Yes.
She says it's very funny that we should watch on Netflix.
Yes.
I'm down to try a funny anime.
Yeah.
I'm a believer in the humors.
Me too.
Good humors.
Good humor, indeed. That's right up our alley.
And we definitely have a shopping trip planned to go to Peugeot Buffet later.
Peugeot Buffet! Please, come and join us.
Isn't that kind of a hilarious name for a shop?
Yes.
People will get so offended, but you just have to explain, no, you're mispronouncing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for being here, those of you who were here.
And I want to let everyone know, if you get the pink drink, it does taste different with the strawberries in it than without.
You don't have to have the strawberry, what did you call them? Strawberry whatever?
Inclusions.
Inclusions. You can say no strawberry inclusions, as my daughter does.
Yes.
If you don't like the strawberries, you can stuck in the straw.
Yes. But I would say that it tastes different without the inclusions.
I would say it tastes better with inclusions.
Yes, it does.
So keep that in mind for your next Starbucks visit, okay,
Yes.
everybody?
Keep that in mind.
Thanks for being here. Don't forget to eat plenty of...
cheese.
Oh, bees! I switched it up today. Don't forget to eat plenty of bees. Jonathan Basanti, let's schedule something. If you're available later tonight, give me a break of an hour or something. Maybe I'll be done to type you, okay? If you're available in like an hour. Shoot me an email.